Hold on, relax. I'm a security trainer.
I'm gonna knock your ass out, boy.
Here we go. Hold on, I'm a security trainer. Let's talk about it. Here we go. How did I get access? Put that up. Put that up.
Ain't no.
Put that up.
You know how a Black Hawk works. That's how you know. The average Joe don't know how a Black Hawk works.
What's up? Get you a better holster, my brother.
Nah, I've been doing this shit.
Come on. Get you a better holster.
You do quick access. I work on a project.
I got you. What site you at? Tell me what site you at. I'm gonna give you my card.
I see you on whatchamacallit.
I'm gonna give you my card, and where you at so I can bring you a holster, my dude.
Give me a level 2 Black Hawk holster.
I'm gonna give you a better holster. I'm gonna give you a Safariland. Look, come here. I hate that holster.
Because you know how it works.
Of course, but the average look. I used to work.
Average Joe don't know how it works.
I used to work in the jails. The average Joe does know how it works. Okay. Get you.
Stop the cap.
Hoteps are mad. Hoteps are mad. They're mad at younger black folks running around the internet saying we are not our ancestors. And I guess the word ancestors is what the problem is, because really what young black folks are talking about are the black people from pretty much the last 2 generations. That would be Generation X, and that would be the boomers. That's really what they're talking about. The Hoteps, as usual, they're always going to go back, to ancient Kemet, or they're going to go back, 3,000 years, or, point out all the slave rebellions. Like, people don't know that there were a whole bunch of slave rebellions. Like, that's what they're going to do. What about Nat Turner, and they really do miss the point, and it goes back to something that Lady Boulay said, and when she was talking about black men that like to throw up Black Wall Street, and I can't deny this point. I didn't like it, but it's the truthful statement. As much as I can't stand her, where she said, she was like, Black Wall Street was I think at the time it was like 112 years ago or something like that, and that resonated with me. I'm like, yeah, she's got a damn good point. Like, really, you gonna bring up something over 100 years ago and be like, this was the last time we won, this was the last time there was a victory? And see, the thing is with young people, going back to Paul Mooney's statement, tell our grandkids, to get to the back of the bus. There won't be a bus. Is, like I said in my previous video, boomers and even Gen Xers, some Gen Xers, they've had a lot more stability than millennials and zillennials. Economic stability. Where, even the cost of homes, was reasonable and within reach. Now, young people don't have anything to hold them back. This is why, people bitch about, inner city crime. I could solve inner city crime overnight. I could stop all the gun violence overnight if we had some goddamn economic opportunities and, some manufacturing jobs, some unionized jobs. Oh, you can get rid of that shit overnight. But because, again, the black boomer generation isn't going to do anything to contribute to that other than just empty rhetoric coming from the DNC, right? All they propose is gun control, right? Gun control, at the time of the explosion of Christian white nationalism and all these races coming out the woodwork especially after Trump, in addition, or I say especially after Obama, not after Trump, after Obama, because that's where you saw all the grassroots, what do you call them people? Them damn, they think of themselves as the patriots, the what do you call them damn people? The is it the militia, the Minutemen? What the hell do they call themselves? Them grassroots, white folks, we're taking America back. What do they call themselves? I can't think of what they call themselves off the top of my head. But you know what folks I'm talking about. All the people that backed Trump and whatnot, and had this whole "Make America Great Again" mentality. So the the black boomers, the Sheila Jacksons, the Maxine Waters, the Elijah Cummings, the what's his name, John Lewis's, right? They're always up there talking about we need gun control, right? At a time when black folks are getting all type of hemmed up by the police, right? Black olders always up on TV. Every time their son gets shot 57 times, they up there talking about, we forgive, we forget, we some good Christians, right? It's like they don't have any fighting spirit. No fighting spirit. It reminds me of that scene in what was that damn freaking the Wayans brothers movie. What the some Druce in South Central. I always forget the damn title of that movie because the title is fucking retarded. But in any event, I'm saying, when they had that scene with Kalinga and they were like, yo man, I thought you went down to protest, the White House that day. Yeah, but they was giving out jobs that day. You know what I mean? So the protest stopped. And see, the thing is with the boomers and some of the Gen Xers, they had that attitude of, well, I got mine. And then they went out here and produced kids and children, and their children got nothing coming. They set nothing up, because quiet as is kept, young people don't have a whole bunch. A lot of old black olders haven't got the memo on that. The young black people don't have a whole bunch of respect for them. You know what I mean? That whole era of respect your elders just off of the strength that they're old, that shit is done with. That shit is completely done with. We don't eat off of you. We don't get jobs and economic opportunities off of you. We don't get mortgages from you. I mean, we get essentially nothing from you, but y'all be running around talking that, somehow that you should get economic respect because simply you're old. It doesn't work like that. And with the number of young folks that were in that video, that defended that brother, who, clearly he wasn't a young man, but I think that a lot of the boomers and a lot of the olders, should really shut the fuck up on the front. You know what I mean? And in terms of especially be it the fact that they're not well liked as a generation. They're not well received as a generation coming from young black folks. They're not. You know what I mean? But those brothers went out there. I mean, you talking about, jeopardizing, their criminal background and their criminal record. Like you're in other words, completely separately, because I'm not saying that they went out there and they defended the older brother. Nah, it's just, it ain't gonna go down like that. Just period. It ain't gonna go down like that. Black folks, the black, especially the younger, we're sick and tired of white folks and their bullshit. And I'm not saying that there weren't some older folks that are sick and tired of bullshit, because like I said, that dude with the chair, he'd been waiting his whole life to do some shit like that. But this whole, conversation about we are not our ancestors, you got to really think about, like, what that statement means. You know what I mean? Like anytime, young people, take that type of position or take that type of stance, like, it should be, older people should take pause. They'd be like, damn, why are they saying that? Like, as though young people today are like, oh, we are not our ancestors. And as though they're talking about Nat Turner or they're talking about the niggas on the Amistad or some shit like that. That is not who they talking about. That is not who they look at as a bitch. They talking about a lot of these boomers and a lot of these Gen Xers. You know what I mean? That again, like, it's not even about the physical fight in terms of a quote unquote victory. It's also about economic victories, right? It's also about financial victories. It's also about, like, infrastructure victories. Things that black people actually have and can be passed on, as opposed to just being, victims underneath the system of white supremacy, where we continue to just suffer and suffer and suffer and take L after L after L, and black people are doing far worse now than they were doing at the turn of the century, or the turn of the last century. I mean, and the Hoteps, they always want to, they want to come through, and I know why they do it. And this is something that Captain Solo, has pointed out. They do it because they don't have any contemporary victories. And if all you have is something that happened 200-300 years ago, you're going to go and you're going to champion that. Like, niggas literally got to go in the library, open a book, blow the dust off, before they can say, hey, this is the last time where we shut some shit down. You see? The last time that, like, if I wanted to talk about actually that technically would have been, I think that technically would that have been in the silent generation? What generation was Malcolm X? What generation was Malcolm X? But anyway, I'm saying, like, when the NYPD tried to run up in the number 7 mosque in New York, that was a victory, right, with the Nation of Islam. But I'm saying, other than that, nobody can really point to any quote unquote, victories, even just shit symbolically. You know what I mean? Bottom line, the boomers and quite a few of the Gen Xers, they look like bitches to us, right? The younger generation, right? And again, you want to talk about inner city crime, inner city violence, black on black violence, all that is economically driven. All that revolves around money, a dope dealing. That's what that shit revolves around. And then it gets personal, because once you kill my brother or kill my loved one or whatever, or my best friend or something like that, niggas ain't gonna give a fuck. It's personal at that point. That nigga gotta die. That's just what it's gonna be. So I'm saying that younger generation ain't playing that shit. You know what I mean? They exercise their Second Amendment rights legally and illegally. I mean they're ready for war. They're ready for the bullshit. I've seen it. Like I told y'all, South Florida, niggas walking around with backpacks with the fucking, like crisscross with the backpack in front of them with a fucking mini Draco in that bitch. They ready for war. You know what I mean? From anybody. And that includes other black people that may be on the bullshit, based on internal shit going on in the community. The bottom line is they ready. But, we just haven't seen that from, the older generations. Y'all up there, oh, well, I got a good job. Oh, what about my pension? We the last ones with pensions. Y'all up there, oh, well, I got me a good house, and like that's literally, what y'all was on. And I get it, but real talk, when your children and your grandchildren are out here and they're struggling to get established, or they're people bitch about young black folks not getting married, right? You hear the shit coming from the women. I've said this a million times. I don't care what the race is. Okay, if you do not have gainful employment for young men, right, that's going to delay marriage. You know what I mean? It's most likely going to delay children until things break completely, as they already happened in the black community, where then people start just, operating, in poverty. You know what I mean? And then they start acting like, well, I mean, ain't nobody sitting around waiting for, jobs or stability to come through, and ain't nobody doing that. That's where you start getting the black women that got, through 3 different baby daddies and 5 different kids and shit like that. And they just, just in poverty, and because it's become normalized at that point, because the shit has, been broken for so long that they don't know any other way. You see? And so, the white community, they talk about this big wealth transfer, and that probably will happen. But I'm saying you notice how much even on YouTube, and you're looking around and you got videos and TikToks and Instagrams, white people talking about the real cost of living and the real cost of housing and how they can't make it. Marriage rates even in the white community are down, birth rates are down. Right? You know, like white supremacy got to be one of the dumbest goddamn things out here, because you would think if white supremacy was trying to maintain whiteness and be supreme, that they would go out here and create a system that was economically viable even for their children. But they're not even doing that. And so, you know, when it comes to black people, if white people are sick, black people are on fucking life support. When white people are struggling, black people are hurting. You know, so when it comes to the black, you know, olders and whatnot, like, y'all ain't gonna get no respect out of that. Y'all ain't gonna get, y'all not gonna get respect, you know, from young. Hold on. The system is fucked up. The system is rigged. You know, can't nobody live. You know what I mean? And you ain't out here whooping ass. You ain't out here fighting. You know what I mean? You just out here talking about white Jesus and God and Allah and all this other bullshit. You know what I mean? Like you so focused on the afterlife, you completely ignore the existence that your children have to live here. And then you sitting there talking about, you know, how God's going to part the sea and fix some shit. And you got them folks over there praying to the same motherfucking God. The same people who oppose you pray to the same damn God, and they got more than you do. So that tells me all I need to know about who God is actually fucking listening to, if there is a goddamn God. You know what I mean? Like, y'all, like, black people are so magical, and I know what it is, because black existence is sucks, and it's so terrible for so many people that all they have is the hope of the afterlife, that's going to be fucking better. Again, that's some shit where you're not going to get respect. You're not going to get respect here. Again, like Cologino in A Bronx Tale. Like he said, you know, your guy is bigger than my guy up there, but my guy is bigger than your guy down here. You know, these older black folks, man, y'all need to recognize, man. Y'all need to recognize this shit. You know, you are not going to have young people respect you, and they don't eat off of you. They get no opportunities from you. You know what I mean? You're not putting them on, right? You're not passing the torch, right? You know, y'all don't have a legacy of wins, right? This is where you get into the an individual having high self-esteem but low group esteem, because group esteem is based off of you know what are the accomplishments and the achievements of the group, right? This is why white supremacists, they don't want, like, white Southerners, that's why they want to reenact the Civil War. We resisted the Union, and we resisted tyranny and all the other bullshit. That's why you get the Egyptians, and black people. Everybody want to claim Egypt, right? They want to claim, white people. They weren't claiming Greece and Rome. Those were the dirty white people. Those were the white people. They didn't consider Italians to be white until the man with the funny mustache discovered the greatness of Rome and then modeled his whole empire after that. Then it was like, oh, wait a minute, let's go back and look at antiquities and, look at all these superior white people. Oh, they're just so great, right? But then completely ignoring that the fucking Greeks and the Romans got all of their knowledge from ancient Kemet, got it from ancient Egypt, right? But like, I'm just saying, this is why people are saying we are not our ancestors. Motherfuckers they're not talking about the Amistad. They're not talking about Nat Turner. You know what I mean? They're not even talking about what was that town down in Texas where the U.S. government the U.S. government executed about 100 black soldiers. Let me. What was this? 100. I think it was like. Texas. Was it Texas or was it Louisiana? Might have been Louisiana. Hold on a second. California, 1962. It was black soldiers. The Houston riots. What was the name of the town? It wasn't just Houston. It was a specific. Damn, what was the Houston riot? What was the camp? Camp what? What was the name of the camp? Anyway, the Houston riots in 1917. Basically, the white police officers were fucking with some black soldiers. You know, obviously this is, I don't know if this was, when did World War I end? I know World War I ended in 1917, but I don't know whether this was before World War I and after. The deadly riot, convictions, Camp Logan, that's what it is. Camp Logan riots. You know what I mean? Basically, a handful of the black soldiers, they went into the town and they just started shooting white folks indiscriminately. And, you know, the U.S. government, what did it say? What does it say? Hold on. Executed. 19 African-American soldiers were executed and 63 received life sentences in federal prison. It's soldiers that had nothing to do with that. Just, you know, it was like a handful that went out into the town and, you know, did the massacre. And, you know, they all got charged, you know. But, you know, again, you know, the legacy of fighting back, you know, that nobody's talking about that. What young black folks today are talking about is this pacifist attitude, pretty much all of the DNC that you see today. That is what they're talking about. This pacifist, you know, attitude, this, you know, we shall overcome. Niggas want to sing Negro spirituals and shit. You know what I mean? And again, you know, I'm with the white folks on this, right? Because every time we talk about reparations for slavery, right, even though they're the beneficiaries of it, they say, well, I didn't own any slaves. You know what I mean? If the people should have been charged or something should have happened, it should have happened to the people that actually inflicted those crimes upon black people. And I'm totally with it. I'm totally with it because basically at this point in time, when white people do some foul, fucked up shit, black people should respond in real time. Because if you let it go on for too long, if they let that transition pop off for too long, you know what the white folks are going to say? They're going to say, well, that wasn't me. That was my grandfather. And your window, like there's a statute of limitations on whooping some ass. The window on that statute of limitations, you know, that time is up. You see, so, you know, I'm like, okay, yeah, all right. So black people going to have to respond in real time. Black people are going to have to respond in real time. And that's what you saw, you know, with that whole brawl down there in Alabama. That was black folks responding in real time. You know, I mean, seriously. And honestly, you know, like I said, it's, you know, it's like them damn Muslims, you know, with their whole, the way that they defend the Prophet Muhammad. You know what I mean? White folks out there trolling. It's our constitutional right and to freedom of speech and freedom of the press to draw a cartoon of the Prophet Muhammad if we so want to. And the Muslims, what do? All right, you can draw a Prophet Muhammad if you want. You gonna pay for that shit. And they go and they try to have these fucking contests. Oh, we're going to draw cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad. And then them Muslims, they come pulling up on some Allahu Akbar shit, ready to run some people over, blow some shit up. They don't fuck around when it comes to that shit. You know, so white people, notice how we haven't heard about a draw the Prophet Muhammad contest in the news, you know, for quite some time. You know what I'm saying? After those Muslims threatened to pull the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying, like, people got to know, you know, you are not the one to be fucked with. You know what I mean? You will crash the fuck out. And that's another thing when it comes to these young black folks. I mean, when you don't have shit to freaking, what do you want to call it? You don't have anything. You don't have shit to live for. It's very easy for a young person to crash the fuck out. You know what I mean? You know, like Styles P said in his song, dealing, what did he say? He's like, well, something like, we dealing coke like cars, I'll come lease you a brick. And then he says something about, we like pieces of shit. Like, I'm like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm saying you got to think about the fact that you got so many young black people living just like that. They don't give a fuck. That's one of the things I always talk about when people talk about, like when I watch these white folks on Fox News and they talk about the laws or the rules or the stiff penalties. That again, when people have little to nothing, and you talking about in other words, they don't have a better quality of life. You threatening to take away their life or throw them in jail, they don't give a fuck. To them, for many of them, that's relief from this goddamn system. So I'm like, again, when shit gets that bad, oh, nigga, that's your ass. That's your ass. And people don't understand that when they want to talk about, the system and rules and the regulations and all this other shit, when at the end of the day, the system doesn't benefit them. Sooner or later, they're going to say, fuck you and your system. Just like that freaking dog versus the wolf test when that woman had that button and she had the treats and she was like, press, and then she kept not giving the wolf the fucking treat and shit. Man, that wolf said, fuck your button and the plank it came on, and bit the damn plank and ripped that motherfucker off. You ain't gonna just fucking keep fucking with me like that, giving him treats and I don't get no motherfucker. Fuck your whole game, bitch. I love that clip. Go watch it. Go watch the dog versus the wolf fairness test, man. Even an animal understands that shit. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, maybe we are not our ancestors isn't the proper phase. I found a shirt on Amazon that was in pink and fucking green, which we already know what group that is. It's on Amazon because ain't nobody else using green and fucking pink. Anyway, it said, we are not our ancestors. We are the generation of change. That's what the t-shirt says on Amazon. Bottom line, what that says to me is the olders fucked up. Y'all fucked up. If your kids and your grandkids and your great grandkids are saying that, for that matter, you fucked up. You fucked up. So, all that shit with the black folks, complying again, at a time, black folks had to hope. That was the whole thing of what I said in my previous video about why affirmative action was a thing. It was to what's the word? Squelch the riots that were happening in the 1960s. And instead of black folks, going out of their way to really build shit up at the collective level. You know what I'm saying? Not just, what the brother was doing with Soul City, but I'm saying at the collective level. Understood, okay, now we got some economic opportunities, we got some tangibles, let's set something up because this may not last forever. The boomer generation, and some of the silent generation, the Gen Xers, they didn't do that. They had that window and they didn't do that. And now, you got, y'all see the fucking statistics on young black people and what their net worth is and the properties that they don't own and the stability that they don't have and whether it's pensions, 401ks, whatever you want to name. They don't have any of this shit going on. So if you think that they're going to give a fuck about going to jail, if you think that they're going to give a fuck about losing a bullshit ass job that ain't paying shit. White folks always kill me with that shit. They got black folks working a job, and the job, it's not lifting them up out of poverty. It's not gainful employment. They can't plan out like that brother said in that 1960s clip of the black middle class. He was like, yeah, I'm good jobs, not no pot washing and all that bullshit. He's like, good jobs. Yeah, I could see myself in 10 years and starting a family and being called Mr. instead of being called boy and all that bullshit. I can see myself. This is the part that pisses me off. Just about, just the whole system, and including, most certainly including white boomers when it comes to this shit, even when it comes to their own children, where they want to turn everything into personal responsibility and laziness and all that crap. And it's like if you're not paying anything, people can't plan shit out because they don't have the resources to make a fucking move. And if they can't make a move, then they go into a very dark place, right? This is why you see the bullshit with the fucking the young white boy. You're gonna see more of that. You're gonna see more young white men shooting the fucking place up as this economy fucking tanks and taking out their rage, like what we saw with the Buffalo shooter. You're gonna see more of that, which is, again, ever more reason why, black folks need to be more vigilant. Not just from our own internal conflicts, but external threats. You know what I mean? But all we see on television are black people who are pushing a Democratic agenda or a Democrat agenda as opposed to a black agenda, which is why they're coming out with articles now talking about how, black men are leaving the DNC and they ain't fucking with the DNC and whatnot. And we got the whole gender divide because the black women, they looking for trinkets and goodies, from the government, which like reinforces the whole, black man not in the home and all that other shit, right? Because they always looking for some government programs, and a lot of times they get them, just like this shit with the what is it, what organization was that, Goldman Sachs or Merrill Lynch, whichever one that was coming out with the investing in black female businesses, and there ain't no discussion about black males. Even though arguably black males, they're such a threat and they're out here and their crimes and this, that, and the third and murder and mayhem and blah, 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 blah. But again, this society is hell-bent on not helping, young black men, that it has made it its, full-time job, of destroying. So again, nah. We my generation and younger, we ain't got no respect for the elders. At the end of the day, we look at them like they some cowards, they some bitches, they weak, they can't tell us what the fuck to do, they ain't got shit for us, we don't eat off of them. There's just nothing. It ain't like the 1960s where, you got to go to church every Sunday and you got to get to know Mr. Johnson because Johnson's a foreman at the, Ford factory. And maybe when, you're 16, 17 years old and you want him to see your face and get to know you so that, when you turn 18, he can see if he can get you a job in the plant. That doesn't exist anymore. That doesn't exist. A lot of y'all olders, y'all really do think that was some like you got some intrinsic respect. No, motherfuckers was doing for people. They were doing for people. And Captain Solo and I, we've kind of argued about that because he was like, nah, people were giving it because they thought that that's just what you do, even though it's attached to, again, being a participating member of a community with benefits. When the shit no longer benefits you, motherfuckers roll the fuck out. I was having a conversation with somebody about that, about fucking, talking about poor white girls and getting with poor black men. I'm like, if a white woman is poor and she doesn't feel the benefits of white supremacy, or she goes out here and she comes across a black man that's doing better than her daddy, why the fuck wouldn't she go in that direction? There is no fucking quote-unquote race loyalty and all that other shit if you're a part of a group that at the end of the day, they haven't put structural things in place that benefit you, that make you being a participating member of the group valuable, where you'll defend shit. I've seen shit like that in the city of Philadelphia when it came to the black Muslims. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got Kenny Gamble. You know what I'm saying? Kenny Gamble is a Muslim. Kenny Gamble invested in the city of Philadelphia. And Kenny Gamble has hired and put in place many Muslims. Okay? They got guys with felonies. Same with Nation of Islam. They got guys with felonies and everything else. Those men that benefited from that. I'm not saying that they have the same influence and power that they once did, but I'm saying those men that were able to take care of their families and provide for their household, they are 100% loyal to the Nation of Islam and would die for the Nation of Islam, or they would die for Kenny Gamble because he put them on. He gave them the ability to be the men that they want to be the men that they envision. I can't stand when people run out here and try to act like, niggas is just on some nigga shit and whatnot, and there's no opportunities and there's no alternatives and there's no way for them to reach the level that everybody says that they should be at. And then want to wonder why they just fucking give up or they go to some alternative, type of shit where the bar is fucking lower and they can have some sense of a identity, of a male identity. Society may not call it a positive male identity, but it's a positive male identity to them. They belong to something. But people always want to overlook that. And somehow, everybody's getting duped because the powers that be and the corporations and all that, they're the ones that control the media. They're the ones that control the messaging. And all they got for you, as the quality of life for American citizens has declined and gone down, all they got for you is a whole bunch of personal responsibility and hard work rhetoric. When they're not trying to pay people. Again, go back and listen to that video that I did addressing Dave Ramsey. We don't want to pay the fucking pilots. We don't want to pay the air traffic control. We don't want to pay the baggage claims, motherfuckers. We don't want to pay the damn flight attendants or the air stewardesses. We don't want to pay them. They don't want to pay anybody. I was watching some shit with the Actors Guild, and they had some guy up there talking about why, whenever they have a show, they change the name of the show after 3 seasons so that they can claim it to be a new show and get all the employees off of, or all the actors off of, the growing pay rate or pay scale that they were on. You know what I'm saying? And again, corporations and people will do this. And then you'll have all these like conservatives, these white conservatives that'll run around and where are the parents and people aren't working hard enough and everything, right? Because they get all convinced by the shit because maybe they have, again, just like black olders, maybe they had just they got their job, their shit is secured, and they still think because they haven't been out there on the market. They still think, it's like that. It's just like a woman that's been married for like 25 years and then she divorces her husband and then she goes back on the market. We see this with Tom Brady's wife, right? Go back on the market and think that it's going to be the same as when she was, much younger. And it's like, no, it's not the same. It's not the same. Not only are you older, but I'm saying the dating market is different. You know what I mean? So that's what it's like when you talk to some of these people that actually, have, the gainful employment and they're locked in, to their career. They're locked in to whatever the pay scale is. They're locked into that, right? And so again, they'll run around because they've secured their bag. They'll run around waving the finger at everybody else. The shit is absolutely retarded. Absolutely retarded. It's like fucking even I see this even with nurses. You know what I mean? Like motherfuckers like, oh, we can't retain any nurses. You better start paying people. You know what I mean? And how stupid can you be? Instead of retaining people, you let them go, right? Or they quit. And then you got to go and then hire these traveling nurses and pay, obscene amounts of cash up front. I'm like, how stupid can you be? But then again, I haven't looked at their books. So, it probably is cheaper to pay the traveling nurses because you're not paying for everything else. The full, all the other, ancillary shit, like healthcare and dental and retirement and shit like that. Like, whatever the scales are. But to me, it's just stupid because it's like, I don't know how, as a society, and I do believe that there's a societal responsibility, if we remove the racial component, there is a societal responsibility to foster stability in the society. But what I see from white people who are in positions of power, who do the hiring and the firing, they don't facilitate stability. And then you got Fox News that goes up there and bitches about the outcomes of the lack of stability. And like I said before, many times before, black people are the canaries in the coal mine. I've said this since I came online, that black people are canaries in the coal mine. So, you know, it's just, people need to see the bigger picture, you know, when it comes to this. You know, young black people are totally fed up. You know, you fuck around with them, you gonna find out. There's nothing holding them back from, I mean, the slightest infraction. There is nothing holding them back from whooping your goddamn ass or blowing you the fuck away. There's nothing holding them back because stupidly, folks have let it get, they've just let it, you know, get that far. You know what I'm saying? Like what, I mean, what is the difference? What is the difference between not having a criminal record and being broke and not being able to do shit, and having a felony and still being broke and not being able to do shit? Like that should never be that close. It's like the people that when they argue about people staying on welfare, it shouldn't be that close. You shouldn't be sitting there saying, well, shit, let me stay on welfare because getting a job, you know, I'm making money, but when it comes to all the shit I got to pay for, I'm actually making more money on welfare than I am working a fucking job. Like, it should never be that close. But yet, this is the type of society that we live in. It's fucking retarded. So, I got smoke for society. I got smoke for, you know, black people that didn't shield their children from them. I mean, what the fuck did you have kids for? I like, again, I just think black people, I mean, no planning, you know, it was just, kids are just a byproduct of fornicating. Like, that's just what you do. You don't set shit up. You know what I mean? And then you wonder why you got all these angry black boys running around. You wonder why you're getting carjacked. You wonder why you got a fucking Glock 19 in your fucking face. You wonder why. Anyway, that's my video. SWP out. Don't forget to comment, share, like, or subscribe. Motherfuckers talking about, oh, there's opportunities out here, and you got actors going on strike, you got UPS going on fucking strike. Fucking ridiculous. Anyway, that's my video. SWP out. Don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe.